you got to either go in and be the most dynamic person that you can be, or just sit here and let other people just use and abuse you for with the gifts and the talents that you have. Yeah. Like, and you know this, like, I'm always about being radical with my actions. I'm like, yo, today I made 4 calls. Man, I'm making 20 calls a day, because out of that 20, at least 5 of those are gonna be deals. You know what I'm saying? Nice. I need that private jet. I don't need it for like ego. I need it because I want to bring all my friends with me when I go across the, you know what I mean? Like I just want the experiences of stuff and bring my friends with me. Like that's always been my thing. Like if I want to, it's too much room that you can't bring anybody with you, and there's so much knowledge that you can't retain everything. True. So like, yo, give it. You got it. Give it. You know what I'm saying? So you can make room for the other things. Everything else is like irrelevant.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And happy another day above ground. It's always a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic day to be alive. And real quick, right? Officially, welcome to the podcast, my guy.
Oh man, it's a pleasure to be here. You know what I'm saying? Feel the vibe, feel the energy.
You know, I definitely got the battery in my back. I'm just making sure this mic ain't going up crazy.
Okay.
But definitely got the battery in my back.
Oh, we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, this is amazing.
This is
technology.
Because this is how I figure. Like, we always have a very interesting level of conversation. Right? It's not always, you know, highbrow and business. Right. It's real shit.
Always.
Like, we have the candid conversations we have about the gamut of topics that we talk about. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's a value in it, not just for you being who you are in a public sense, but being who you are in a personal sense.
Yes.
Like who you are to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because as somebody who I appreciate, you know, how you think, how you move, how you care, the level of empathy that you have for humanity, I'm like, well, shit, you coming into town, you know what I'm saying? We doing what we do.
Always do what we do.
And I might as well, you feel me?
That's it.
Holla at the homies.
That's it.
For people who don't know who you are, just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Rahfeal Gordon. Sometimes they call me RahGor. Some people call me Rah. Some people call me that guy, big homie, OG, boss of bosses. I don't even know. You know, God-fearing man. But I am a man of love and light. And I am a leadership advisor. I've done advising for various individuals all over the world who are dynamic entrepreneurs, political figures, and just individuals who are trying to impact the world. But I'm also the CEO of an amazing global company called Madison & Park, and we are a global branding and marketing firm where we build marketing strategies and help build brands to go global if they're just still local. So helping them find investors, make themselves more attractive to their services and businesses. So, you know, so I spent a lot of time helping individuals take their companies to the next level. And of course, I'm a published author, published 18 books now in total. Yeah, super wavy, and never thought I'd be an author, a published author, but published it. You know what I'm saying? Own all the rights to my book. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be, ownership is important, so I can pass along that wealth to the next generation. You know what I'm saying? If I'm blessed with children, but I got godchildren, so they're blessed. My homies are blessed, but yeah, but that's what I do, man. And my whole life is dedicated to impacting humanity as a whole, to go to the next level, man. I'm a firm believer that if you live that example of being a superhero and what that looks like in the flesh, man, your life and your legacy will live on forever. And we study with the greats, the greatest greats.
That's wavy.
Yeah.
Well, you know, aside from being Barack Obama's homeboy on the weekend, you know what I'm saying, hanging out with LeBron James.
Right, yeah. Speak that into existence. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Fourth quarter clutch every day. Bomb.
I'm going to go ahead and give you your flowers.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Doing this podcast, no lie, is a big part of, is the result of the relationship that you and I have, the space that you and I have shared over the past few years.
Word.
And I could not not do this and not have you on, bro. I couldn't. Like, I was like, yo, you coming into town?
Word.
Bet.
Let's do this.
I'm about to get wavy with my bro.
As you should. You know what I'm saying? Like, friendships are important, bro. Like, specifically, you got ones that are like gyms. And I think our brotherhood and our relationship is like a gym because we've always motivated each other since my teenage years when we first met. But more importantly, like, just seeing the outcomes, the ups and the downs, man. You see me in tears, break down, rise up, fall down again, lose it all, get it back. Like, you know what I'm saying? And in the midst of all of that, like, always been genuine and direct. And also the fact that for me to be just the same, to be able to be transparent with you and be open and vulnerable as a friend should be. And that's where wealth is. That's where the purity of the heart is. And so when people are able to see someone for who they are outside of the material, you get a really chance to see where their spirit is. And I think, like, that's what makes our relationship such a jewel. And no matter what we both do individually and chasing our goals and our dreams, the common tongue of it all is that like, we respect each other. We also are pushing each other, and also a great example of what brotherhood looks like. You know what I'm saying? So I could be anywhere in the world, but my home is your home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got you, guy, vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it's supposed to be. A man's man. You know what I mean?
That's weird.
A man's man.
That's
a fact.
So what brings you into town today, sir? Because you're not you a North
born and raised, North to the core.
But you've been in Atlanta for a little minute now.
Yeah, a little hot minute. You know what I mean? Hot Atlanta. God bless him.
What brings you into town, my brother?
Yeah, man. So I've been every year for the past 5 years, I've hosted this dinner called the Whitney Dinner, and it's pretty much catered to. I adopted the Apostle House emergency shelter, which is here based in Newark, and I believe they have like 2 or 3 locations. But when I was younger, my mom had myself and my 3 youngest brothers. We all were staying for a moment at the shelter, and at the time, Whitney Houston used to host these dinners during the holidays and give all these gifts to the kids and all this through her foundation. And so at one point in my life, I said that if I ever become successful, I want to do that. And I also would like to bring her back to the dinner to tell her thank you for what she's done, and also to see the fruits of her labor. Like, you gave back, and I'm one of the examples of the kids that you inspired or invested in during the holidays. So for the 5 years, I take the moms out to dinner, tell them my story, and I'll give them an autographed copy of my memoir, and just love on them. You know what I'm saying? Pray for them, love on them. And in my hopes is that they pass along that energy and love to their children. So hopefully that one day one of their children will be doing the same thing when I'm no longer, or the foundation no longer to do it. But more importantly, man, my goal is to make at some point to just be that living. Again, I'm big on being a superhero. So if I had to be a superhero, it'd be Bruce Wayne, Batman. You know what I'm saying? He's the most authentic, real person that you can go by in any you know what I'm saying, any comic book, because he took care of his city. So I want to be the Bruce Wayne of Newark. I want to be the Bruce Wayne of the world. You know what I mean? And so giving back to these moms is a true example. And also being a man, you know what I'm saying, to respect and love on a woman, specifically when they're in time of need. So so got my friends like you coming out to help me constantly make this thing happen every year is a beautiful thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man. So it's dope. So right now, we have the dinner tonight at 7. But again, the overall goal is by the diamond year. I call it the diamond year, which is year 10, is where we would do our first gala. And we bring back all the moms and also have them be the keynote speakers to tell their story and where they are. Some might have became doctors. Some might have became business women, or you know what I mean, or just done something amazing, or just got themselves in a stable position. But I want them to come back and love on the moms that's here. And I could just be the man that's behind the scenes. Like, I'm just here to empower women to be great in what they do, and also understand, like, I'm just a support just as much as you, whatever you need, I'm here.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
That's wavy.
Word.
So in a lot of your outreach work, I've noticed, as your homie, as your bro, a lot of it comes from the pain of your personal circumstances.
Yeah.
And out of that pain, the process of, like, putting all that stuff together, it really takes shape in a very organic way, but it weaves so many different unexpected webs.
Yeah, it does.
In this cycle that you've been on, now that you're in a space, and you've been in the space for quite some time, where the level up is like, it's evident. Like you travel the world.
Mm-hmm.
The experiences you have are, for lack of a better word, they're unmatched, right?
Incredible, yeah.
What is your intended, like, through all of this, when RahGor is, you know, ascended to the upper room or whatever, what do you want to leave behind?
Well, I think I want to leave behind just the tools necessary for the next generation to study and to be able to understand how to use it properly to go to the next level. I think that it's important to, you know, just want to be that example, to show them how you maximize your resources. Like, I didn't grow up in wealth. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. So at a certain point, I had to make a personal and conscious decision to be wealthy. And to do that, I had to change what I watched, what I read, who I was around, my environment, like what I eat, you know what I'm saying, how I prayed, you know, how I worked out, how I viewed the world, where I traveled. Like, everything had to be tweaked a little bit. So for me, it's like when I ascend, I just want people to be like, look at all the jewels he left for me to put in my crown. Like, he gave you the books, he gave you the encouragement, he gave, like, they always say that it's important for a man to have someone to represent their life so that when they pass on, someone can say that he was here. And so your friends, the more friends you have and the more people that you impact, the more your name lives on, and people can be like, yo, Rah was here, and here's what he's done. So you can't give me an excuse that it can't be done. Well, here's a man who came from nothing and just gained everything and beyond. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but it just takes just a spark, and I feel like I'm a spark for a generation that's not even here yet to be like, yo, do you remember RahGor? You ever heard about him? Like, right now, like, I got, like, a lot of my stories are in different historical books now, right? Like, in our city of Newark, there's a book that highlights writers from the great writers of the past and up to now, and they, you know, blessed me with being a part of that roster. Or, you know, these nominations, or just the stuff that these kids are hearing about through YouTube, and like, yo, you was in my class, you went to my school and inspired me in 3rd grade, but now I'm a doctor. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but I remember your quote, your location is not your destination. So for me, it's always thinking about 50 years down the line, 100 years. I never think so much about the right now. I'm always going to be present, but I'm always thinking 50 years, 100 years down the line, because that's what people don't really look at. Like, yo, when you're 60, yo, how are you going to live at 60?
Facts.
I'm going to tell you what I'm doing right now so that when I get to 60, this is what it's going to look like. And these are what the kids are going to be saying. They're going to be the same. My friends' grandchildren are going to be like, yo, I want to meet Rah. And that's powerful for me.
That's wavy.
That's powerful.
I mean, you mentioned the spark, being the spark. For you, who was that spark for you when you was a shorty that made you see the world in a broader scope than the confines of your situation in North New Jersey?
Yeah, no, there was a lot of people, like, sporadically, right? So, there was this woman named Miranda who I just got in contact with, who was, like, super amazing. I haven't spoken to her in over 10, it was long. Since last time I seen her was 18, so that's way beyond 10 years. And she always pushed me to, like, you're going to go to college. And she made me sit in the office every day, or every time I had to go down there to work when she was at Planned Parenthood as a counselor. I worked in this program as, like, a student leader or whatever, and she would find out that I was trying to go to college, but I didn't know if I wanted to go or not. And she was like, nope, bring all your applications. You got to understand what's out here more than just Newark. And so she did that for me. But it's so many people, man. My grandmother, of course, has always been like the spark, because my grandmother's seen a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, she is a, you know what I mean, an activist. She is a woman that's, she's a wife. She's a loyal and dedicated woman to her husband. She is an educator, you know what I'm saying? A gym, a city girl, but she's down to earth. But she's more important, like, she's full of wisdom, you know what I mean? So she was my spark. She always sent me away. Like, she was she sent me to Canada with my school in high school when I wanted to see something outside of the U.S. So she's like, you're going to go to Canada. So the school had a trip. She sent me out there, paid for the trip. And I was out there for like a week and a half or something like that. And so like those were the sparks. And I think also like, you know, just seeing people who were doing things on a different level. You know what I mean? Like I didn't, you know, I think every couple of years there's you complete a cycle and you meet people who you never thought you'll meet. And I've met so many people, man, but, you know, to pinpoint just one is very difficult. But my grandmother was always that first spark for me, and she always was encouraging even when everybody else wasn't. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's wavy.
Word.
So, now, a lot of people who don't know the origins of where you came from and, like, how you really had to get that shit out the mud.
Oh, yeah.
What are some of the misconceptions that people have about you when they see you now that you like, yo, I know you not I take it some type of way, so I'm not asking from that standpoint, more so than the standpoint of like it's interesting you think that about me, considering this is my story. Like, what are some of the misconceptions that you've come across with people who, because they don't know that you had to get it out the mud?
Oh yeah, they don't know. Like I'm built for the grind. Like, I'm built for the hustle. Like man, I could tell you if it's like the misconception is like it's very important to remember that I made a conscious decision to go the positive route, to do the things that I'm doing, because it could have went a total left at any moment. And so it's more, I think people fail to realize that it's much more difficult, and it takes a different type of a person to say no and stick to the slow route. You know what I'm saying? You everybody's getting it around you, and they telling you come get it, and you like, nah, I'm a do this, and you can't test them, because even if he's going to test you, like I'll test you too, like we'll go back and forth, but I'm going to stick to the slow route. And I think like that's the thing, like you know, I think that people fail to realize too that if a person made it out of the trenches, you can understand what is it about, what's in them that makes them to be able to survive amongst the wolves. Like there's something. Like you can't just you know what I'm saying? Like you just can't be in the jungle and not be tested. Facts. But you get tested and you still made it out. There's something in you that's like super strong that people don't know, and know how you have to really learn how to control that for the betterment of your life. You know what I mean? But I also think that people think that a lot of times people will have a misconception about where you want to go. Like never think on a higher level. Like you want to be president? Why would you want to be? You can't be president. Just, you know, it's like, no, like, why can't you? Like, why can't I not? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just things that people just don't realize that just because you see me now writing books and all that, there's a bigger plan in place. And people look at, oh, Rah's, even in the beginning, people was like, oh, Rah's a speaker, or in the beginning, people just thought I was a rapper. They was like, yo, you rap? So, like, cause it looked too cool. Like, you can't be speaking, bro, cause the way you out here moving, you looking like, my Joe, you dropping an album? What's popping? And so for me, I'm like, nah, I'm not rapping. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the hip hop culture, but nah, I'm a speaker right now. Yeah, but my thing is like, I'm just trying to be I'm on the Bruce Wayne this game. That's always been my thing. Like, yo, you see me, you be like, yo, that's wealth, that's power, that's influence, that's respect, that's integrity, and that's someone who's here for all people. You know what I'm saying? I think people fail to realize that, like I try to look beyond the color. I try to look beyond the vessel, like what's in a person, and how can I really tap into that? And that's where people don't think that I'm thinking about all the time. Like, I'm trying to infiltrate and get in and really pierce your heart, and understand that you need to bleed into humanity, into society in a positive way. And if I can pierce through all that, you'll see where God lies.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Big facts.
God in love has no color, has no parameters, it has no, you can't put it in a box. And I move in that mindset.
So, with God and love, do you consider those to be like one of the pillars that you build? Like you mentioned, integrity, a few things. How important are those pillars to you, and how do you incorporate those pillars in the things that you do, the things that you say, the books that you write, the engagements that you participate in, as far as like speaking engagements, whatever the case is.
Yeah. So well, everything for me, everything is God. Like, everything is God related to me. Like, I look at myself as the most extraordinary servant that I can be, or that God created me to be. So when I write these books, it's to serve the mind. When I do these philanthropic projects, it's to serve my community. When I'm over here trying to deal with these children, I'm trying to serve the next generation.
Yeah.
So I'm always in the mindset of serving, and that's where God is. Like, God is always looking at it like, what are you doing for others? Because I'm taking care of you. Yeah. But because I'm taking care of you, who are you going to take care of? Yeah. So if who I care for is my brothers and sisters all over the world, I believe God is going to gives me the biggest heart to do just that, to give me the biggest tools, the biggest platforms, to do just what I desire, which is to serve. And he's like, all right, cool, I'm going to bless you abundantly. And I'm going to bless you in ways that nobody can even fathom. And so for me, when I do my businesses, I do it with integrity. I do it with the fact that, like, yo, God has watched me, so I can't do bad business with people. I can't treat people wrong. When people aren't around, I can't talk about them badly. Like, because I believe that he's always watching me. Yeah. So that's how those are my pillars, man. Like, love, man, and being honest with you, when you start to move as such, man, it's you always are gonna get tested, because a lot of people don't move with integrity. A lot of people don't move with the sense of love in their heart. A lot of people move with the sense of selfishness. Thanks. And so when that happens, how do you deal with it? How do you maneuver? And how do you allow yourself to stay on the straight and narrow, and still be able to intensify your work, intensify your actions, without getting caught up with the fact of the naivete or the ego of doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. Which, again, like, because it's easy to fall short or to fall to the wayside, because, you know, when you start getting it, you know what I'm saying, and you start seeing yourself blossoming and all your work becoming really amazing, you can stroke your own ego and be like, all right, I'm gonna do this for me, and then you lose sight of the overall vision and wonder why you're struggling, and wonder why you are having so many storms in your life. Is because you never thought about everybody else. You've been thinking about yourself only. So,
so speaking of G-checking, twofold question.
What's up?
How do you G-check yourself?
Right.
And when was the last time you had to G-check yourself?
Bro, that's a good question. So, I G-check myself by looking at if I'm doing the same thing over and over, and not making any progress. So if I'm doing the same projects, if I'm doing the same things, like dealing with the same people, not seeing the level up, not having productive conversations, I got to check myself. I do a lot of meditation, so I meditate every day. I'm always thinking about, like, what I did the day before, who I spoke to. And so for me, I'm always in meditation, which is where I check myself. And I always ask myself, why did I make this call? Why did I deal with this person? Why did I decide to take this decision? Why did I decide to go here? And anytime I feel like it was for the fulfillment of me, because I should be fulfilled with helping others, you know what I'm saying, or being able to provide. So like for me, like that's how I check myself, in meditation, because I'll be very upset to be in public and somebody check me, even when they're right. I'll be highly embarrassed. So I try to do that, and I also have good friends around to check me in private, so I don't make a fool of myself in public. Facts. You know what I'm saying? So I always tend to like reach out to my friends, family, and ask them questions like, hey, what do you think about this? You know, what do you think about all these other things? You know what I mean? And get their opinion before I make the final decision. Yeah. Yep.
I like that.
Word, bro.
For me, doing this, it's a learning for me also.
Right.
Because the friends that I have, you know how they say, who you are is the product. The person you become is the product of the 5 people you hang around the most.
Right.
I know we don't hang out because you live in another state.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Right.
And I'm not Barack Obama status yet. Not yet. But the things that you've done to level up your life, I've incorporated.
Right.
So I know how valuable these things are to you. And somebody else might be like, man, I want to do X or I want to do Y, but I don't know how to tap in. When it comes to tapping in, when did you start to like realize that meditation and all of these things could be a benefit to you? Was it like in the midnight hour and you ain't know what else to do and you found your way to it? Was it something that somebody introduced to you, like, yo, if you meditate and pray and go in, you could like really tool up your life? Like, how did you get to that point where you even got into that space to go within, to be able to check yourself within, being self-aware and things like that?
Yeah, so it had to be like about 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
I was watching a lot of like different speakers that were dealing with like personal development and, you know, all these guys would, and then at some point I started to hear them talk about meditation. So when I was around like 27, 28, a little bit like 25, I would literally do that. Like I was like, let me just practice. And so I would there were these sessions that I would go to for like 30 minutes and that would be guided meditation. And then one day I decided to like, I was at a park up in, I was in Hackensack, and there was this park there, and there was a group, it was a circle, and there was this Asian guy, really older guy, and I watched them they were doing Tai Chi and all these different things. And so I was always running every day because I was getting into bodybuilding. Like I was working on my body, just learning how to do handstands, all that. So I started getting big and cut and all that, but I was like, I need to also work on my mind. So one day, I'm out there, they out there in the middle of this cold out there, and they just finished meditating. And I was just about to start, and he just smiled at me, and I was like, hey, I said, hey, I always see you guys out there, you know, meditating. He's like, you should come out, we're here every day. And he was like, even when it snows. And he's like, when it snows, we're under this little hut tent area. So I go out there, I started to meditate. It was very difficult because the way they have these different postures. But he was like, just be consistent. Like everything is already perfect, just do it. So over time I started doing that. Then I started to pick up books on Zen, meditation, all these different things. Then I started going to monasteries. And then, you know, so all these different elements, I would go when I started going out of the country, I was meditating with monks and studying with them. And then like His Holiness the Dalai Lama came to Newark one day, and we had this course on like light, like the session on light, and we talked about meditation. We also meditated with Deepak, who became like a mentor of mine, and so Deepak Chopra. So I ended up like incorporating all this into my daily practice. It's like meditation is also my breakfast, it's my lunch and my dinner. And man, it just took me to a whole nother level because I got a chance to really like step outside of myself and also detach from the things that I always thought was going to be a necessity, right? Like I think that, you know, people be like, oh, if I get a car, house, whatever, like that's your happiness. Like, oh, this is what makes me happy. But a lot of times these things are nothing more but tools. Yeah. And so when I started meditating, I realized that, you know, I already have joy within me. It's just that everything around me, my friends, my favorite color, my favorite songs, favorite TV shows, my favorite car, these are nothing more but tools to intensify my joy. Again, joy is already here. Mm-hmm. So if I meditate, my meditation helps me just to sit in my joy with no interruptions. And then when I come out of it, I'm just like, I'm full, I'm fulfilled. And when I go into my daily habits, I don't have any ego intention. Everything is like, how do I make this better? Yeah. Also, how do I make it better to leave for someone else to use? Gotcha. And that was it. That was it, bro. So, you know, I'll be on my Zen master moments, and I'll be in my bed. I'll be like, let me go meditate before this business meeting because I know it's going to be intense. I come in, I meditate, 15 minutes, boop, come out, do my little prayers, and do a lot of vision training. Like I think about how the meeting's going to go, who I'm going to make smile, how I'm going to articulate myself. And so I've already prepared myself. My psyche's already prepared. My emotion is already intact. So no matter what comes my way, who comes in, I'm already in a set state.
Yeah.
So my state is success. My state is like well-being. It's prosperous. It's positivity. And so when people come in, that's what you're getting from the gate.
Yeah.
So whatever comes in that's the opposite of that is already getting deflated. You know what I mean? And so by the time at the end of a meeting, it's a positive one. It's a productive one. I'm not doing busy work anymore. I'm just being productive.
Yeah.
There's a difference between busy and productive. So people, what you doing? Being productive. I ain't being busy. My time is allocated to the things that work because I meditate on it and I already see it before it even happens.
That's wavy.
Super wavy.
I like how you said when you meditate, how you gonna show up is already set. So no matter what come in, it's like I'm already good.
I'm already good. That's it.
The tree is, my roots is good.
It's stay. And you know what's crazy? I told this to a friend of mine, or actually my neighbor. I said, you gotta be aware, and this may go totally left, but it's like you can't change the mind, and nor can you persuade someone that has something that you're trying to give them. Like if I already feel successful in what I'm doing, you can't linger something in front of me to go for it if I already got that. You know what I'm saying? What that thing is going to do for me. Like, if I already feel happy, joyful, fulfilled, wise, like, there's nothing to maneuver me or manipulate me because it's like, nah, I'm good. Because I can see through all of that. Yeah. So when I come in or when you meet me, you're going to experience me and you're going to experience truth. Yeah. Because there's nothing else that I don't want nothing from you that I can't give myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm already connected. You know what I'm saying? So when I go into these business meetings or negotiation meetings, they're like, yeah, I can do this and the third. It's like, just do it. Like, don't tell me what you can do. Just show me what you're going to do and do it. Or like, if you say you're going to give something, just give it. Like, because you know what the person that you're trying to negotiate, you know that person that you're talking to has a value. Because if they wasn't, you wouldn't give me the time or nor try to manipulate me to the other side. Thanks. So, so I always tell people, like, make sure that you're already aware of who you are, have clarity in your vision, and whatever you got to do to find out, to give yourself clarity, make sure you do that first. Work on yourself so that when you go out into the world and do whatever, being a businessman, a woman, an athlete, whatever, a student, whatever, that you know and aware of what you want, what you need, but more importantly, like, make sure you already have that energy, that spirit first, because everything else is just it's an extension of what you already have. Thanks. Whatever you put into your circle, you know what I mean? So that's important. It's important. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? That's that Bruce Wayne status, bro. That's like, that's it. Like, I always think about that. Like, you can't, like, you got to either go in and be the most dynamic person that you can be, or just sit here and let other people just use and abuse you for with the gifts and the talents that you have. Yeah. Like, and you know this, like, I'm always about being radical with my actions. I'm like, yo, today I made 4 calls. Man, I'm making 20 calls today, because out of that 20, at least 5 of those are gonna be deals. You know what I'm saying? I need that private jet. I don't need it for like ego. I need it because I want to bring all my friends with me when I go across the, you know what I mean? Like I just want the experiences of stuff and bring my friends with me. Like that's always been my thing. Like if I want to, it's too much room that you can't bring anybody with you. And there's so much knowledge that you can't retain everything. True. So like, yo, give it, you got it, give it. You know what I'm saying? So you can make room for the other things. Everything else is like irrelevant. If I'm all about empowering, to encourage and to inspire, but I do that through my actions. And I think that's the thing that people don't, if you step back and look at my resume, it's always been actions. Facts. Always. I do it, but then I do I think twice and I move once. You know what I'm saying? Think twice, speak once. Think twice, move once. And that way you can, you know exactly where you're going. It's one of them things, it's like your actions speak so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The walk is heavy, I just talk light. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it all day. So being that you're like always tapped in, do you have any irrational fears? Irrational fears? Yeah. Only thing I fear is God, man. I take leaps and bounds and risks. Like, I jump off the cliff every time I get a chance. That's wavy. Like, God, like, who's your biggest fear? God. Because he can take it away at any moment. Nobody can take nothing away from me. God be like, yo, you ain't handling this right, bro. Yeah. I'm taking this from you, little son. I'm like, come on, homie. Like, yo, I'm here. Nah, you're not rocking it right. You're supposed to be harder. Yeah. Like, why are you out here playing with the gifts that I've given you? So, like, if you ain't going to do it, just play with those little gifts I gave you. But if this is what you want, bro, then add a little more to what you're doing. Yeah. All right, cool. Other than that, I can't fear nothing. Yeah,
shit ain't got no salt in it.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, what else you want me to say? Like, what else? You know what I'm saying? What else? Like,
Facts.
cats be out here playing with their gifts. Like, playing with it. Like,
true.
Like, no, you ain't gonna, like, throw that back. Like, you got the arm, throw that bad boy down there. Throw that shit way down there. Like, you got the arm for it.
Stop acting like
Come on, your homies got the best wide receiver on your team. Throw him the goddamn ball. Why are you saying, you want to run it now?
Yeah.
Oh, you think you can, you the quarterback. Like, come on.
The dude,
you know what I'm saying?
Be on the basketball court trying to do all the fancy
What are you
shit.
doing?
Yeah.
LeBron's on your team. Why you just alley-oop the homie?
Yeah, you tripping.
You bugging right now. The championship ring is in your hands, and all you got to do is pass off to your peoples. Yeah. Serve them. Yeah. That's all you got to do. You have a ring all the time if you just serve.
This is a fact.
But no, you wanna show off.
Spotlight. See me.
See me. See you. Oh, I'm gonna see you fall on your ass. Fall on your sword.
See me.
Look. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
So what's one of the most interesting places or mind-blowing places that you found yourself? Not necessarily a destination, but being in a certain room, being in a certain situation. Like, what's one of the most, like, yo, I can't even believe my non-irrational fear-having ass got here.
Yeah.
I'm here?
Nah, bro. I've been in some rooms I can only just keep to myself, but like I can't believe I was in that room. That was crazy. That conversation was amazing. That was wow. Yeah. But one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had, that's like one of the many, has been at the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony. When I went to see Malala get her Nobel Peace Prize, bro. Yeah. Like, before her, it was Dr. Martin Luther King who received the youngest to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah. And then Malala came along, and just like, and to see her and actually meet her the night before, and then met her siblings. We all was at the table. You know, she did the dinner speech for us, for everybody. And
you met her pops too, right?
Yeah. Her pops, it was a big help in a lot of things that we did, what I did in Norway with a good friend of mine, in terms of like being like an advisor to the projects and organization. And he's such a dynamic leader all by himself, and I can see where she gets it from authentically. Yeah. But like being at the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony and like getting the invitation, walking through the doors, sitting there and watching like history being made in front of my eyes. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a picture that this very famous artist who was there documenting, she was sitting next to me, we're having a great conversation. She's from Germany. And she's like, I'm going to take a picture of you because this is historical. And I think at the time where I was at, I was like the only like black American that was on the floor area where I was at, like just there to watch it and take these pictures. So I'm sitting there, she's setting me up, and they have a monarchy. So they have like a king, queen, all that. So there's the picture I'm under the king's painting in the hall, and she has me like sitting there, and she's like, "Oh, this is gonna be amazing," because she's like, years from now, this will be the picture that they're gonna reference back when they talk about you being here on this moment. And she took the picture, and I think it was in black and white, and it just made me think like, yo, I really took a leap and look where I ended. But I'm a kid from the projects of Newark, New Jersey. Yeah. Like, I eat oodles and noodles. I had to go to the Chinese restaurant and order my food through a bulletproof glass. You know what I'm saying? Like, shootouts in front of your house and people, you know what I mean? Like, all that, you know what I'm saying? Bodies on top of your building. Like, dead bodies on top of your building that they hearing about. Find out you smelling stuff coming out. Like, what is that? Like, these are actual experiences that I had, like, where trauma is created because of the community that you're in. Yeah. But I made it out of that to be at the Nobel Peace Prize, to watch a woman from a whole nother country win something because she went through just as much crazy stuff and survived it, and she gets awarded for it. Yeah. And me, along my journey that survived what I went to, was there to bear witness to what she survived. Yeah. Powerful. Super powerful. And I'm not even sharing my story. People don't even know why I'm there. Like, yo, and I remember this woman leans over to me. She actually was adopted, but she's here in the States. She's actually in politics here in the U.S. She sat next to me. She leans. She says, "I don't want this to come off wrong," but she's like, "Why are you here? like, who brought you here? I was like, no, I got invited. I'm here. She's like, she's like, no lie. She's like, to see you here as a black man from America sitting here, she was like, that's powerful. Yeah. So to hear that, it just, people were just like, yo, who's this?
Who is this guy?
Who? Like, you here? Like, what? Nah, stop. Nah. No. I'm here on my own. Like, you know, favor, God's favor. Yeah. And so you got to always remember that, too, to the people who've been watching this, listening to this podcast and watching it on video, is you got to be aware of your favor. You got to be aware of the power that God given you, and also be aware of what you're here for. Like, when you get these little gems and these experiences, don't take them lightly. Like, there's multiple experiences. There's things that you have to do that you need to be in the rooms for to make it all work. Yeah. Like, if you're not there, it won't click. And you have to make a sound decision to say, you know what, I'm going to man up, I'm going to woman up, and I'm going to be very much aware and be present in these rooms. Yeah. So that you can make change in your community, in the world, in your family, and for yourself. Like, what good is it to not be your best in rooms where people are their best? Facts. Why are you there? Just to show up and say, hey, I was here with a selfie? Here. Come on, they ain't helping nobody.
LeBron James.
I can't understand that. Drake said that in one of his songs, like, about a girl who traveled all over the place, but she kept taking pictures in her bathroom, in her room. Like, why don't you show us where you at? Like, why are you taking pictures with this is the bed? Like, no, like, go out, go explore, see the world, but also use your platform to encourage people to be able to do the same. Like, you jump off the cliff, film you jumping off the cliff, show them how deep, look how far, and you still did anyway. Yeah. I think that's important. I think so. For me, like, that was one of my amazing experiences that I've ever had thus far. One of the many.
What was one of your darkest moments?
I think I had a few, not too many, but like when I lost it all, like trying to figure it out, like I had a moment where I was just like, I didn't know where I was going to go. I lost pretty much everything, and I was just trying to figure out like how did I get here? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm Rahfeal Gordon, I'm RahGor. Yeah. But I realized that like what I was sort of championing for was bigger than what I was already accomplishing. And I think that what happened was I ended up losing everything to make room because things I didn't want to let go of. Yeah. So in the midst of me holding on to like relationships, things that I like, you know, I was traveling a lot, but what I was doing and going back to the same places. And at a certain point, it's like you don't have to keep going back there. They know who you are. You can go there now and just do your thing. But I wasn't expanding. And so like God was like, look, if you ain't going to expand, I'm just going to bust your bubble real quick, and you're going to figure this out. So, you know, so for me, I think when I lost everything as a man though, like as a grown man, and all you have left is like fame or like recognition and awards that don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? You can't invest those in anything. I think like that's when I really wised up even more to leverage what I really had. You know what I'm saying? And then realized like, oh, like I really am this person that I really could. Like I kept saying, I want to be this person. Like no, you are. It's just that because you're aiming too low. Like sometimes, like again, for me, my darkest moment, that dark moment came because I realized that I had a big gun, and I was aiming at the floor. I should have been aiming as high. You know what I'm saying? Like my target's now supposed to be bigger.
Is that a pterodactyl? Man, I'm out there.
Let me go for that right there. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm out here. Why are you up here with the puppies? Like, and also being realized too. Like sometimes you're no longer at potential. Like you're actually that person, and you're in a state of denial. So you'll do immature things. Yeah. In spaces that you're supposed to be mature in. And so people look at you and be like, nah, you're not ready. Yeah. I thought you were, but your mind state, your environment, who you're around doesn't reflect who you're supposed to be or who you could be. So you know what? I'll just move on to somebody else. And you start to lose a lot of different things. And you realize as you get older that you can't do certain things anymore. You've been there, you've done that. Yeah. So for me, like that was a wise moment. I mean, man, and then hearing like, I even got in my book when like my grandma's was just like, nope. Can't come here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not even my grandfather, like, nope. Like, you'll be all right, though. Like, my grandma was like, yo. She's like, you know what? Just pray. You know, God got you. Faith is real, Rob. Faith is real. I didn't want to hear that shit right there. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Like, I need a safe haven. Nah, you're going to figure this out. Yeah. So it was like, all right, well, let me bust it down real quick. And literally, as soon as I made the decision, like I'm not depending on nothing but God again, like the way I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yo, it just took off. And it's like to see that now, it's like I get it.
Why did your grandparents kick you out the nest like that?
Shoot, I wasn't even in the nest. Like I was trying to get in the nest because I was like, yo, I don't know what I was in limbo. And I think they're old school. And their thing is like, nah, you're grown. Like you can't come back here. Like, and I thought about that too. Like you think about like when birds create nests.
Yeah.
Like you can't, when they for the chicks, right? The little baby birds. But once they get to a certain capacity, they can't fit in that little, you know what I mean? It's only there for them to nestle the egg, and when they get to learn how to fly, build your own nest. Yeah. You can't come back to that because it's done deal. So I felt it was the same way. My grandparents are old school. They're like, look, grandpa's like, nah, you can't, you know what I mean? You can't come home. You can come visit.
Yeah.
We'll give you the knowledge. You know, you can take a break, but you're not residing here. You're so far past this now. So I took that like, all right, cool. Cool. Let me just get this house real quick for y'all. Let me get this mansion. Let me get this estate, couple acres, and let y'all. All right, and then I'll thank y'all later. Mad at y'all right now.
Yeah.
But I think again that's old school on that part. But it also taught me a lot too about like things that I've experienced and being around other cultures.
Yeah.
And hearing the other way that they would have done it, right? Like, so I think that because even though they did it, I got my lesson that way. But when I started to maneuver and make different decisions, I noticed how other family members from other cultures would have done it. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, so it could have been done this way, but if this is all that we know about raising or making someone become a man, then you have to deal with that. But because of what I've already been exposed and experienced to, I was able to travel outside of the norms, right? Outside of people who look like me, think like me, eat the same things, to be able to say, well, could I live this way, or could I, like, what am I doing wrong? And then getting other advice and other suggestions from people who may not even experience my culture was a very big thing as well. Very big deal. Big deal. It just took off. And it's like to see that now, it's like I get it.
Why did your grandparents kick you out the nest like that?
Shoot, I wasn't even in the nest. Like I was trying to get in the nest because I was like, yo, I don't know what I was in limbo. And I think they're old school. And their thing is like, nah, you're grown. Like you can't come back here. Like, and I thought about that too. Like you think about like when birds create nests. Yeah. Like you can't, they for the chicks, right? The little baby birds. But once they get to a certain capacity, they can't fit in that little, you know what I mean? It's only there for them to nestle the egg, and when they get to learn how to fly, build your own nest. Yeah. You can't come back to that because it's done deal. So I felt it was the same way. My grandparents are old school. They're like, look, grandpa's like, nah, you can't, you know what I mean? You can't come home. You can come visit. Yeah. We'll give you the knowledge. You can take a break, but you're not residing here. You're so far past this now. So I took that like, all right, cool. Cool. Let me just get this house real quick for y'all. Let me get this mansion. Let me get this estate, couple acres, and let y'all. All right, and then I'll thank y'all later. Mad at y'all right now. Yeah. But I think again that's old school on that part. But it also taught me a lot too about like things that I've experienced and being around other cultures. Yeah. And hearing the other way that they would have done it, right? Like, so I think that because even though they did it, I got my lesson that way. But when I started to maneuver and make different decisions, I noticed how other family members from other cultures would have done it. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, so it could have been done this way, but if this is all that we know about raising or making someone become a man, then you have to deal with that. But because of what I've already been exposed and experienced to, I was able to travel outside of the norms, right? Outside of people who look like me, think like me, eat the same things, to be able to say, well, could I live this way, or could I, like, what am I doing wrong? And then getting other advice and other suggestions from people who may not even experience my culture was a very big thing as well. Very big deal. Big deal.
Well.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a few more questions. One in particular, 2020, we're in 2021 now. Right. COVID, running rampant, all that good stuff.
Can't stand COVID.
I know. Son of a
suckers.
What's one of the ways that you had to, like, pivot? Because you do travel a lot. I know a big part of what you do is connecting. So, what's one of the or some of the ways you had to like pivot in your 2020 that now in 2021 you like, I'm glad that I pivoted in this direction, or glad I pivoted it away from that direction? Like,
what I pivoted. Like, I think, well, honestly, like, for 2020 kind of was more of a reflective. It was like a reset button.
Facts.
Because for 6 years, I've traveled, like, 6 years straight. I spent at least 3 to 6 months out of the country. This is the first time in almost, like, a little bit over a decade that I haven't gone out of the country. It's super weird, bro. Like, super weird. So, like, so I didn't understand. So this is funny. So social media is interesting because it literally tracks your patterns, and you don't even realize it. So because I couldn't travel anywhere, it was quarantine. I think it was like March or April. Every day, Facebook would show you memories of like, you know, pictures or posts. Bro, for like 3-4 months, bro, it was showing me 3 years ago you was here. It was different countries.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I was never here during the spring. I was like always out of the country. But I didn't realize how many years that was. Yeah. So I'm looking every day. I'm getting these pictures of like, and videos of where I've been and how much I've changed and like what I was talking about. Yeah. And I had to sit here and watch the old me, or watch what I was about to leave behind, right? And so the pandemic taught me about like just understanding being still is movement. Like just sitting there and looking and observing your patterns to understand what patterns you want to keep and what you don't. Yeah. And then you also realize when you're being still, some things that aren't for you actually drops to the wayside. True. And you realize that because you give it attention, you give it energy. So the pandemic or the 2020 has just taught me that not to, like, literally just focus. Like when you're doing what you're supposed to do, you feel it. Like it's a gut feeling, which is like I would say that's God talking to you there in your gut. But like 2021 is just all about just doing, like literally intensifying and being positive. Like, I mean, like, it was a hell of a lot of people dealing with depression. You can't see family, none of that, right? But that's also what it's like too when you are doing your grind work and so like you don't see your family, you barely eating, all that stuff. Yeah. But here's the funny thing: 2020, it was something similar. If you live by yourself, you didn't see family because you had to be quarantined. I'm sure you had to do a lot of cooking for yourself, or if you didn't, you learned how to cook. Yeah. But you had to really do things that you're not used to doing, or you kind of found things about yourself. You know what I mean? There was a lot of relationships built. There's a lot of dealing and understanding your neighborhood. People spend more time in their community more than ever, and that was what I learned. Like, oh, everything I need is actually for me. Like, I don't actually have to lose anything if I'm sitting still.
Facts.
You actually do more.
You do. You ain't got your attention isn't being grabbed in so many different directions.
Nope.
Where, once you get into that stream of spirit, energy, chi, whatever. Yeah. When you have it interrupted constantly, it's like the thing you really are in that space
That's
for.
A fact, yeah.
You have to constantly like pull back and then rev back up, and then pull back and then rev back up. So I know for me personally, the pivot for 2020 was a lot of that. A lot of being still, a lot of like really becoming more self-aware. Yeah. Like you said a little while ago, how you check yourself when you start finding yourself revisiting or being back in the same spaces. Yeah. It's like, how did I end up back in the same space?
That's a fact.
And that was like a question for me. Like I realized I'm a very, very good starter. But the space that I fell victim to being a people pleaser.
Yeah, and you got to remember something too. Like, that's one thing that also told me for the 2021 is like, be honest, direct, and sometimes you have to be blunt, because if you're not direct, people are going to just keep doing the same thing. Like, you got to be, like, when you put your foot down, put your foot down. Like, you can't, like I had a moment in a conference room with a guy that used to be my neighbor. And, like, you know, we were talking about this thing about quitting because we were playing in a chess tournament while we were all, you know, been quarantined. But I told him, like, I don't want to play no more because I don't want to play. And again, he's a good person at heart, but I was like, I don't play with quitters. And I kept telling people, like, yo, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not. He was so upset. Like, why you don't want to? Like, we gonna change rules? I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, my standard is I don't deal with this type of behavior.
Yeah.
I don't, because if you quit in this, you're gonna quit like this. Like, no, I'm not wasting my time anymore because. For me, time is very important.
Valuable.
So for me, I realized, like, and be okay and be, what's the word for it? Like, unapologetic with your truth. Like, everybody's not going to love and like you. So it doesn't mean that you have to stop loving and liking. Like, I can love on you even if you don't like me, but be mindful and be aware that I'm not changing up if what I'm saying makes sense. And what I'm saying is also the benefit of me being your friend, because you would want me to be honest, you would want me to protect and be able to support, but also I would want the same for me. So if it's not reciprocated back, why would I even waste my time? Yeah. So you're going to get this work with a helping hand. Like, yo, I'm not feeling that, I'm not doing that, but you're still my guy.
Yeah.
Now, if you can't respect that, then, you know what I mean? God bless you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? God bless you. But I learned that through the pandemic, because when you give people that space to test your truth or to test your authenticity in a sense of, like, your thought process or what your standard is, you open the door for things that will probably end up being very disrespectful to you, with people not realizing or even caring.
Yeah.
So, like, I learned quick, like, nope, 2021, you're gonna get this unapologetic truth.
Facts.
All day. Yep.
Well, shit, man. We've been kicking it for a little minute.
Right.
I know we both got things to get into.
Facts.
But I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, you know, hopping on the podcast. Happy another day above ground.
Yeah, man.
It's something that I've been holding near and dear to me for a minute. Like, the idea came from, I got fired from a job. And the day I got fired, I'm driving away from work. I pulled over and I was just like, even in this situation, even though I know my wife is going to be like, how did you get fired from your job, you grown-ass man?
Right.
I was charged with just being there as an underdog.
Right.
For the other underdogs. Because a lot of us, because we know that we have more to give.
Right.
That journey, although it's lonely, when you do have people that you can kind of, like, lean on or lean to or look to and be like, all right, I know I'm not by myself. I think that's important. So I appreciate you for being that for me, somebody that I could look over and say, you know what, this guy has been through way more shit than I could even. Like, I've been through shit,
right?
But it's different, and for you to still lead the charge and still be out here doing what you do, you know, this you touching this, wherever this is going to go, I really do appreciate it. You feel me?
That's a fact. Yeah, man, that's how it's supposed to be.
So, you know, if you have any parting gems, any words of wisdom, anything you want to drop on the people right now.
This the camera?
Camera,
it don't matter. Listen, just do your thing. Like, I just truly and just say everything is simple. Like, do the work. Don't cut no corners. Do everything with quality. Like, don't be out here, you know, capping on everybody. Like be honest, be authentic, be real. Because at the end of the day, like, that's what it is. Like, you don't get what you expect, what your expectations are. You get what your standards are. So you always remember, if you want higher things in life, raise your standards. And it doesn't matter if whatever things or person that falls off, they were there for a reason in the season. But the ones that are always, the people in your circle that's always elevating themselves will always be with you while you elevate, because they're on their path and their journey, and y'all are supposed to remember that iron sharpens iron. Nice. So you have to always push your circle or your friends and your family members to be better and do better, but have a common goal in mind. But more importantly, make sure that you have your goal and your vision in mind and with clarity. Yeah, like my quote is, forever be your location is not your destination. So if you're watching this or listening to this and you're going through something in your life right now, just be aware that it's only for a moment. So man up, woman up, put on your best outfit for the day or for the morning. Find whatever your favorite dish is. You're either going to make it or you're going to buy it. Call all your favorite friends, listen to your most amazing music, and just go all in. Like, do it 10 times, 100 times better than you did yesterday. And I promise you, 90 days from now, you'll be like, yo, I did that. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. Like, and as long as you live in, there's always going to be storms. So just prepare for them as you're winning. Because at the end of the day, you can always win if you make the decision to. You can win in the storm as well. You can win in the drought. Like, you just got to be able to understand that you just got to pace yourself a little differently when those storms and those droughts come around. Because if you can do that, then when everything is said and done, you get rewarded even better because you were planning properly for it. And, piss poor performance is not a great thing. So make sure your performance is at a high level always, and you'll prosper. God bless. Waves. You know what I'm saying? You gotta drop these jewels for these people. You know what I'm saying? All day, every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, so tell everybody where, they can find you, connect with you, with some initiatives that you got going on. If there's anything that my audience could do, any people that rock with me could do to help you with what you got going on.
So RahGor.com, that's RahGor.com is the website. RahGor is on all the social media, so at me, at RahGor, all that. And just, buy a book. If of all things, just get 1 or 2 books. Go on my website, see what books I got. Order from the website. I'll autograph it personally. If you are a person that got a business and trying to elevate and make it dynamic, check out Madison and Park, but you can find that on my website as well. So just level up that way. So that's where all my contact is. And all my initiatives are right now, I'm just kind of building out different books and brands. So, again, my thing is just to help humanity as a whole. So if any of those projects that you would like, that you're creating and you need some assistance with that, then you just tap in. Waves.
Well, shit, man.
Yes, sir.
It's always a pleasure, my brother.
You already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying?
I'm Baa-ith.
Word.
That is Mr. Rahfeal Gordon.
He's that guy.
Happy another day above ground. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you. I love you guys. And we'll catch you on the flip.
Bless up.
Peace.
Come on. Wake up, get dressed, and I'm gone. It's a beautiful day. Let the sunshine pour in. So I'll wait. Okay, let's go.